Okay. Oh, well, that's not good. Oh yeah, that's good to know, right? Oh, sugar, you be bad. Come on, Blicka. Ooh, shiny. So I am off on a tiny little adventure. Not sure how much I'm going to talk about today. There's nothing really pressing on my mind because there's always something pressing on my mind. There's no something that is higher than anything else outside of just life kind of blows at times. But at least riding makes things all better. Well, this isn't going to be quite as fulfilling here, but you know what? Whatever. It's a different bike. It's so pretty out today. It's so nice out today, actually. Just taking a cruise. I'm going to a friend's house, and the worst part about going to her house is there's not a whole lot of nice roads going that direction. But you know what? We're here to hear. Doesn't mean I can't take. Like, this is ridiculous. I'm going so much faster than I should be, and everybody's pulling away from me like I'm standing still. Well. Yeah. Those are not nice. Now, everybody take a look at those. Now, are those creeping Charlies? Because if they are, that is something that's new to this area. And I mean, I had teasingly we had made a bit of a joke about creeping Charlies and throwing them on someone's yard, but damn, I didn't realize we've never actually had them, so those are new to the area. You see them a lot more when you're in the south, like going through. Well, not even in the south, south of us. I saw them a lot when I was going through like Pennsylvania and Kentucky, a lot in those areas. So seeing them here is different. And you wouldn't think it, but because there's the lakes in between us, some of our agriculture is just not the same. You know, different animals, lower deer populations in my area. We have in this area coyotes. That's like the biggest wild creature, and a few deer. So those are the biggest wild creatures in this area, is coyotes and deer. I've heard rumors that there might be wolves coming back into the area, but like everywhere else, they've been kind of pushed out of this area. We used to have big cats in this area, and those are gone. Yeah, like so many wild creatures are just disappearing. And I mean, they've been gone. Like, I've never known them to be here. And there's no bears, nothing like that. It's a pretty serious freaking issue. You know, thinking about it, we've got so many animals that used to be in these areas that have been pushed out by human population, and we're only growing. I mean, it makes you kind of wonder if those horror movies that they talk about are eventually going to be a thing, where the atmosphere down here is just, there's no space for the animals anymore outside of zoos. And that would be a horrible thing. They deserve their portion of the planet too. So, while I don't like some of their methods, some of those other associations where they're going and fighting for animal rights, they're not a bad thing. They're a very good thing. Just maybe come up with some less radical ways of doing it. Maybe also come up with some sort of a technology where instead of expanding out, we go up. That way, I know it'll affect some bird populations, but it'll still leave open areas for wildlife to live versus covering it all up with, housing and pools for people and leave the animals part of the world, please. I like the way they did it in Maryland. The place is so heavily populated, and yet when you walk out of your house, you could see a deer walking right past the front of your house, because they're not afraid of you. I mean, because they can't be hunted, there's no fear for humans. I mean, outside of probably the occasional person pointing a bow out their back door and catching and dragging in something, but no firearms. So they're not really afraid of people, which is a good and bad thing. So they're able to coexist. That's something that other places should look into, making green areas between. It's also be probably better for people too, instead of living in a box. Yeah, I think that there's a lot of things that they could do to mitigate some of the loss, because we're losing so many species of animals every single day. I mean, that's a lot of things. You look at the list of extinct creatures, and it's scary. And they're not not just little ones either. Big animals. Like the white rhino, gone. And I mean, that was a magnificent creature. I mean, in its own way. I would never want to mess with one because they were big creatures. But they're gone now. The last one, there was one left, and it died. And it's so sad. The only way you could bring it back now is if someone had some of their DNA or whatever to clone them back. That's the only way you'd get those animals back. I mean, it's possible as science increases. So that's my spiel for the day about animals. Now, hopefully I haven't bored anyone, or maybe someone can, I don't know, just use this as maybe something. I know, I'm not very convincing, but it is a big thing. So I'm going to stop on this particular tangent, and I'm going to call it a ride. So peace, everybody, and make sure you think about the animals. They need some loving too. Just not in a bad way, please. Not in an X-rated way. Just in a happy puppy way. Oh wait, peace.